Assalamu alaikum. What up, everybody? And I hope everyone is awesome and good. So let's start this awesome class because it's really beautiful. And if you're not here, you missed half of your life. So let's get started. Class. This is the class for the third secondary. Subject is always what I love the most, English. Semester. This is the first one. Lesson, Unit 4, Reading, prepared by our lovely teacher, Noura Al-Sufyani, and presented by me, Mishari Al-Khamis. So guys, let's get started. The objectives. Number 1, to read fluently. 2, to enrich with new vocabulary. 3, to reconstruct a gapped text. So, reading. Warm up. What is your favorite story? For me, I love adventure. I love stories about school and teachers, and I love normal, awesome stories. Okay, warm up. What qualities do you think an adventure should possess? Well, to be interesting, to be funny, and to be simple to understand, and yeah, action, a little bit of action. The introduction. Have you ever read a story called Alice in the Wonderland? Yes, I read it. It's very beautiful. Do you think Alice in the story really went to Wonderland? Why or not? Why? Yes, yes, she does. If I'm talking about the past, yes, she did go to Wonderland. Reconstructing gapped text. When you present with a text from which sentences have been removed, first read the whole text to get an overall idea. Read the sentences before and after the gap and the sentences that have been removed from the text. The correct option must be logically complete. The writer's mean and the grammatically fit the gap. Pay attention to the sentence links. Moreover, on the other hand, as a result, after etc., etc., as well as references item, he, it, this, there, and etc., etc. Okay, we're going to read about this awesome story. So, A, I licked my fingers clean and stood up and go explore. I certainly wasn't bored anymore. B, I had to find out if the shell was as tasty as the sand in which it was covered. C, I slid I slid back down the slide and began looking in earnest for some way to go home. I decided to see what they are doing. I walked into the room as they shared. The last one, I walked to the water edge. I bent down and cupped my hands together. I submerged my hands into the light blue liquid. I slowly brought my hands toward my mouth and took a little sip. Okay, guys, a sweet adventure. Let's get started. It was a rainy, gray Saturday morning. I was bored. All my friends were out of town and I had nothing to do. My two little sisters, Allison and Brooke, were playing in the next room. Number 1. And there I saw bags of candy that they brought home from the party the night before. Our mother had said they shouldn't eat too much candy. I stood down to pick the bags up and put them away. As soon as my hand touched them, whoosh! Beautiful story, guys. Really beautiful. By the way, guys, number 1 is I decided to see what they were doing. I walked into the room that they shared. It was oozing down a red slide. It was moving so quickly that everything was a giant blur. Plop! I landed on on what appeared to be a deserted beach. I put my hand down to help myself up. I sift the sand through my fingers, trying to decide how it was different than regular sand. I felt more like powdered sugar than sand. Wait a minute, I thought. I tentatively placed a finger in my mouth. It was powdered sugar. So number two is I licked my fingers clean and stood up to go and explore. I certainly wasn't bored anymore. I walked toward the shimmering water. I noticed many seashells along the water edge. The shells were very colorful. Some were totally covered with powdered sugar, sand. I I bowed down to pick one up. It was stickier than I expected. I hesitated for a moment, but my curiosity overcome me. Number three, guys, I nibbled at the edge of the shell. It was even better than the sand. I quickly bent down and shoveled shells into my mouth until I wasn't quite so hungry. Then I slowed down and began to enjoy the tastes. So guys, number three is I had to find out if the shell was as tasty as the sand in which it was covered. After a while, I realized it was perch. I hadn't had anything to drink since my orange juice that morning. I looked toward the ocean, and I knew that drinking salty water would only make me thirstier. Then a wonderful thought occurred to me. If the sand was sugar and the shells were candy, then perhaps the water wasn't salty. We have number four, guys. It was definitely not salty. In fact, it tasted just like blueberry juice. I drank several dips and then sat down again in the sugar to think about my strange day. So guys, what do you think is number four? We have a lot of options here. We have A, B, C, and D, and finally E. So what do you think, guys? What is number four? Okay, the water wasn't salty. It was definitely not. So what do you think, guys? Is it I licked my finger clean? I had to find out. I sat down, slider. I decided to see what they are doing, or I walked to the water edge. Come on, guys. Okay, I'll help you. Is it D or E? Which one is it? Come on, Mushrif, what do you think? Is it D or E? You have 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Oh, Mushrif is trying to do something. Oh, you said D? Okay, let's find out. I decided to see what they were doing. I walked into the room that they shared. Okay, let's check out. And the shells were candy. Then perhaps the water wasn't salty. Is it correct to say I walked into the room? I'm talking about water and sand and sugar. So you have only the last option is E. But hey, thank you for trying. That was a very excellent thing. Trying is a very good. Thank you for trying. Okay, the answer is E. I walked to the water edge. I bent down and took my hands together. I submerged my hand into the light blue liquid. I slowly brought my hands toward my mouth and took a little sip. It's really a beautiful, awesome story, guys. Okay. I was beginning to wonder how I had arrived in this unusual place. The last thing that I remember doing at home was picking up the bags of candy. That was it. It suddenly made sense. I had somehow been transported by the bags to a land made of candy. It occurred to me that I was going to have to figure out how to get home. I stood up and began walking. I remembered sliding down a slide. I saw a playground in the distance. I began rapidly running toward the red slide. Guys, this story is really simple and it's really beautiful. It's really very good story. I really loved it, guys. If you had any time, please read it again. It's a very awesome story. I immediately tried to climb back up the slide to see if it would take me home. The only place it took me was to the top of the slide. Oh, we have number 5 here. I wonder what is it. I looked up and down the beach for a sign, but I didn't see any. I sat down. Excuse me, guys, for a little. I sit down disconsolately on a tiffy towel that I found in the sand and began to cry. I'm going to wait a little bit for Mr. to come back. I hope he'll be back. That that I have found in the sand and began to cry. My tears landed on the sand and swoosh. Okay, guys, do you know what is number 5? All right, people, I know you can. It's very easy, guys. It's very easy. You can figure it out. I licked my fingers. I had to find out. I slide back down the slider. I slide back down the slide and began looking in earnest for some way to get home. Okay, guys, let's continue. This is the final chapter or the final slide in this beautiful, beautiful, awesome story. I felt the world start to swirl, and I fell through the hole that my tears had created. Suddenly, I found myself lying on my sister Allison's bed. I felt as if I had just woke up after a long sleep. I looked around. What a realistic dream. I thought it was almost as if it had really happened. I got out of the bed and looked down. There was a pill of sugar on top of the sheets. Beautiful story, guys. That was beautiful. Okay, now we're going to do something very interesting. Answer the questions below. So we're going to try now to look at some questions and try to find out what does that question or the words mean, or what do the words mean. Okay, let's start. Choose the correct synonym of the following words. Stood down. So what do you think, guys? What is stood down? Bent, fell, picked, or stopped? Yes, it's bent. I bent down. Okay, next one. I landed on what appeared to be a deserted beach. So deserted, delicious beach, abandoned beach, full beach, quiet beach. Well, deserted, guys, is delicious. Is that correct or wrong? No, it's not. It's abandoned. Okay, what did the shells taste like? Did the person in the story like the shells? Yes. Yes, he does. Oh, yes, she does. It tasted like sugar. That's what she said. Yes, she liked the taste because she ate a big amount of them. Okay, how did the narrator return to the real life? By his tears. When she cried, her tears made a hole on the sand. Past reading. Do you think the person in the story really went to a land made of candy? Why or why not? Yes, yes. Even if it's a dream, it really felt like it was really real. Use your imagination. This story has sugar for sand, blueberry juice for water, candy for shells, and taffy for towels. What tasty treat could have been fish? Fish is definitely chocolate for me, and beach umbrellas, that would be the caramel, or what you call, yes, I think it's caramel, or maybe ice cream. Summary, constructing a gap text, reading specific details, past reading, opinion, imagination, and reading skills. References are MMP materials, Traveler 5, Teacher's Manual, and Pupil's Book, Google Club Art. If you wanna, guys, thank you for coming. If you wanna watch this lecture and any other lectures, please visit the website. It's gonna help you a lot. And please visit my other classes, my other lectures. And thank you very much, everyone, for coming. It's been really awesome and wonderful to have you guys. Always practice English. Practice make perfect. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. Thank you guys, and have a beautiful, awesome day, everyone. Thank you guys.